Hi, everyone. Welcome to
Not yet.
the.
Not yet.
Gotta get it right.
What's that?
You are live now.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lucy Robbins Wells Board of Trustees meeting for Monday, October 18th, 2021. It's nice to see all the faces on the cameras here. I'm going to turn it over to our secretary, Elizabeth Rogers, to do a roll call. Elizabeth?
I will try to go fast and pronounce everything correctly, so bear with me. Andy Brecker.
He's on mute, but he's here.
Thank you. Anna Eddy.
Here.
Laurel Goodgen.
She's also here. She's on mute.
Jones.
Oh, here.
Pauline Crook.
Yes, I'm here.
Iris Larson. No on that one. Maureen O'Connor Lyons.
I'm here.
Neil Ryan.
Here.
Diane Sam.
Here.
Come back.
Elizabeth, we seem to have lost your
Oh.
voice.
You're
There you go.
back.
Is that better?
It is better. Why don't you start after me?
Okay. So Diane Sam. Lisa Masten.
Here.
Karen Benner.
I'm here.
Carolyn McLean.
She doesn't normally join, so you don't have to put her on the roll call.
Brian Wood.
Nope, I think you're going through the friends list now. I think I'll work with you on the list for the board members.
Oh, okay.
We have Sheila Rowell here from Friends. And we have Dave Nagel here from the Town Council.
That concludes the roll.
Great, thank you. James, is there anyone on for public participation?
No, and my mouse is acting up. There we go. Okay. Nobody on for public participation, so we're on the town council.
Okay, then we will move on to Town Council Liaison. Dave, is there anything you'd like to say at this point?
A couple of things. The last council meeting, which I know greatly concerns many of you on the board, the centralized facilities committee, there seemed to be some different opinions concerning the numbers to be on that committee, and also the numbers to be on the committee in reference to the library. If I am correct, they've decided to leave it to the next council after the election to help to determine what the numbers are going to be. And also, I just received a memo, and perhaps Lisa Stam received it too, so I may be stealing her thunder. The town manager said today, or wrote today, that a contract has been signed with 2 vendors to repair the roof of the library. There may be a problem in terms of getting construction products, given what's been happening nationally at the present time, and he is waiting for a starting date from the 2 vendors that he has made an agreement with. That's it in brief.
Great, thanks, Dave. Does anybody have a question for Dave?
No.
Karen, is your hand up on purpose? Karen Benner? No, okay. I'm reading lips now. Okay, very good. Secretary's report, Iris Larson is not here, so she has no report. We'll go through approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any questions or points that they'd like to clarify for? And this is the business meeting minutes for last month.
I had a minor correction.
Go ahead, Neil.
The minutes I'm noted as being in attendance, and I'm also noted as being absent. I was in attendance. You can remove my name from board members.
I'm sorry about that.
Anyone else have a comment or a question?
I think I also was here. I know I also was here.
Yes, you were. Okay. Up on the top. Okay, very good. And then if nobody else has anything, I did notice that under the activities part, at one point I'm referred to as Diane and at another part as Dane. So just a little typo. There you go. Yep,
I'm sorry. Thank you.
no problem. So if you could make those changes. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes, or does anyone else have something they want to bring up? I don't see any hands raised. I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the minutes as changed.
So move.
Thank you. I need names, right? Let's
Pauline
remember that
Struck.
Elizabeth
Yep.
is new, so she's
Yep.
going to need names. Thank you,
All right.
Pauline. May I have a second? So Neil waved his hand. If he comes off mute, if you
This
hit
is
press your
Lisa.
space bar, it takes you off mute. Thank you, Lisa. We'll
Lisa.
take a second from you.
And that's Lisa Jones, not Lisa Masten.
Neil Ryan tried to second the motion.
All right.
I
Thank
got you, Neil.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
This
motion
is
carries.
Maureen. This is
Yes.
Maureen. I'm abstaining as I was not present.
Thank you, Maureen. Motion carries. Okay, review of the annual activities calendar. So oddly enough, even though we just had our lovely race, normally in this month, we start talking about the race in May. And the most important part for me to say is that we will be, or we are planning to hold our next race, our 2022 race, during the normal third week of May. So that looks like it would be May 15th in 2022. So take a deep breath, take a couple of weeks to rest, then get back at it. Well, actually, you can't rest. You have to write thank you notes so that when we come back out to them again, they're happy to see us. We also, back in the day, used to talk about the Hanel series, and I think that we need to keep that kind of in the offing, not knowing what's going on with COVID. But the one thing that I would request of folks is if you hear of something, see of something, or think of a new way that we might be able to do a Hanel series, you know, in light of COVID and what's happening, let's just try to keep those ideas flowing. I don't know if we'll be able to pull something off in the next 6 or 12 months, but I'd like to see if the COVID numbers go down and stay down, if that's something that we can do. So it's going to take a couple of ideas before we can set something like that up. So if you're hearing of performances or something that would qualify for the Hanel series, keep that to mind and bring it forward, and we'll see what we can do from that. The committee.
Diane, may I interrupt? What is the Hanel series?
So the Hanel series is a donation that was provided by George C. Hanel for cultural events provided by the library. So he donated monies. We have them invested and they're set aside for cultural events. So we have had different performers come. We did a CT improv where it was almost like the game of Clue, a couple of different things going on. So anything that would be considered of a cultural nature, music, arts, crafts, you know, knowledge, anything like that, we can go forward and look at that. And before COVID, we did at least 2 a year. And on our 80th
That's in the
anniversary,
contract.
we did 8 a year. So I'm hoping that helps.
So Diane, I
Yes.
just want to say that in the agreement with the Hanel family, it says that we are mandated basically to do 2 a year.
Right. And I think
But these are unusual circumstances.
they very much are. If you can't have gatherings, you can't necessarily have that. But again, we might be able to, as things loosen up, we might be able to do things outside. We might be able to do things in different ways. So I'm just asking, you know, when COVID first hit, it was just too many unknowns. We couldn't go forward with that. And we had certainly I think, tried to bring a lot of things together with the 80th anniversary in doing 8 events in 1 year. So that was well beyond the 2. And again, I think anywhere people would understand with COVID why things did not go on the normal schedule, but I would like to see us start thinking about it and getting it back on the plate, so to speak. So put your thinking caps on. If you hear of something, see of something, think of something that we can do along those lines, that would be great. Okay. The other thing is the committee lists. Thank you for filling those out. I did try to put everybody on the committees that they had requested. And for the chairs, thank you for those of you who have set up for chairs. And I'd just like to say that while Laurel was a double chair last year for both PEP and House, she has asked not to be chair of House. So I took that on as a responsibility for me to do. If there was somebody else who would like to be chair of House, I would entertain that idea. If not, we'll try to move forward. In light of that, and we'll talk about it when we get down to the House things, but we will be doing a walkthrough of the building again, depending on COVID status at that time. So if you have questions or thoughts about your committees, let me know. I would ask that the committee chairs try to put together a couple of objectives that they would like to do and try to schedule some meetings. We do have ways of having Zoom meetings. So if for some reason we can't have meetings in person throughout this next year, I don't want that to be a reason that the committee stop moving forward or meeting. Okay. So thank you for that. And that's going to end the review of annual activities and committee assignments. And then we'll go on to the treasurer's report. LeeAnn Manke is not able to be here with us tonight. She did send out the reports to all of us. She does not have the final race numbers. She was waiting for a few more things to come in before she could close out those books, but we will have the race results monetarily for the November meeting. One of the things that she thought that we should think about or be aware of is the grant that's giving us all the hotspots. Right now, the grant is paying for the subscription on that, but at some point, those hotspots, the subscription will run out from the grant monies. So the subscriptions to keep those running will have to be found somewhere in some budget going forward. So just a heads up from the treasurer. See how smart I sound when I wear the treasurer's hat that LeeAnn has prepared.
Diane, can I add something to that?
Yes.
Yes, we can consider that, but we also might want to consider a sponsor to
Yes.
effectively, pay for that service. And we would promote the sponsor, hotspot compliments of.
Yep.
But we would need more details for
We
that.
are open to all funding sources. Good idea, Anna. So I don't know if anybody had a particular question on the treasurer's report in reviewing it.
Nope.
No? Okay. If you did, I was going to take notes and we would pass them on to LeeAnn so that she could answer them next month or in email. So if you do review it later and you come up with a question, certainly reach out and we'll have LeeAnn help us with that next month. Okay. Moving right along, we're going to go to the library director's report. Lisa Masten.
Hi, everyone. I guess, well, I did the town is doing a promotional video, and they're filming the different departments in town or different, not just the town, the assets that the town has or why we're an asset to the town of Newington. So they hit the departments and then different organizations and areas in town. So I did my filming last week about why the library was important to the town of Newington, and it's like 200 words or less. So, but anyway, I did my filming, so that should be coming out eventually to promote the town of Newington.
Lisa.
And then, yep.
Lisa Jones, who was the audience for it?
Well, it's the town manager is working with this company. We were told to, I mean, I think they're trying, it's probably economic development or getting people to
Okay.
move to Newington, that kind of thing.
Got it.
Why the town is a good place to live.
Got it.
What all the services that, it has to offer, and businesses and other things that the town has to offer, parks, things like that.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Ryan, sorry. Just about, well, Lisa, the audience, is it something that's gonna be like, be a TV commercial or shown on YouTube or the town webpage?
I'm not sure how they're going to, I'm not sure. It's a video, so I'm not sure how they're going to do it exactly, Neil, but I wouldn't, NCTV and other venues, I'm sure, to promote the town, or they could use it as a promotional thing. I mean, Andy, you probably could speak more to this, how they could use it, but, to promote, living in Newington or get people to move to Newington, the school system, the town services, things like that.
Sure.
Well, Lisa asked a very good question, which is, who are you targeting with this? And this came up several times with the Economic Development Commission and the town council about producing videos that would promote Newington. And it always got hung up on, okay, is this to recruit big businesses, small businesses, people to come and move here? What was that target audience? We don't have tourism of any significance in Newington, but it didn't matter anyway. In the end, it always got kiboshed by the previous town manager, who wouldn't dedicate any money to hire professional videographers and script writers and the people that you need to actually put together something that doesn't look like it's amateur. So it's nice to see this is going forward.
Okay, and then I guess the other thing, just to talk about more, Karen's got some things as well, but just kind of what we're doing right now. So, the town of Newington is in the yellow level, and we'll find out again Thursday if we stay in the yellow level. But what we're going to start doing on Monday, a week from today, is we're going to expand hours. So we'll be open till 8 p.m. at night. So 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And then Fridays will be 10 to 5. And then starting November 7th, we'll be open Sundays from 1 to 4. So what we're doing right now is we're putting back some of the seating. It's really meant for quiet study or computer use, or just if someone wants to sit and look at the newspaper or read. It's not intended yet for groups. We've started to have some groups with older adults with disabilities come in, and they just want to hang out in one whole area. And we're just not ready for that yet. So it's really intended for people to come in and use it for, however they want, except for like gathering to just kind of talk or to take up a whole space. Because we're still not really out of the woods completely. But we also are talking about starting some programming in person, but very small programming. And I had a question from a patron. She actually directed it to the town manager, but I answered it. And she wanted to know when we were going to start in person, like story times. And we have been talking about it, about how to do it. And I talked to all the area libraries to kind of see where they're at. And really, with the exception of New Britain's been doing story times, but they have a much bigger space than we do. And they don't have any registration, which I was a little surprised to hear about. And they have areas marked on the floor where the kids have to sit and things like that. And then Cromwell's doing some in-person programming, but they have a meeting room or community room space that seats 150 people. And they're only doing 15 kids in that room. So, and then all the other libraries are still kind of struggling with how they're going to do in-person programming. And part of the issue is space, and how many people you can have in that space, because that population is still not vaccinated. So we are talking about doing it. It's just, if it would probably be story times, and they'd be very small, and that would be what we would start with. Also potentially book discussions for adults. Again, not very big, but spread out, and maybe potentially some craft programs. We're not ready to bring in speakers, things like that, partially because you're paying for them. And then if you have a really small audience, that's, it gets costly. But that's kind of where we're working, we're working on some of this right now. So the new footnotes that came out, we went to print before we got out of the red zone and orange zone. So most of the programming is virtual, but we might add some in-person programming that we'll advertise, but won't be in the footnotes. And we still have to do COVID screening when people come in. We don't have anybody in the lobby right now because people can just walk in, but they do have to fill out a form if they want to check out a book or if they want to use a computer, things like that. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We're kind of in the same place as a lot of other libraries. Our biggest issue though, seriously, is programming space. We have small programming space if you have to socially distance. So you have to be, we have to be kind of mindful of that. We are going to open up a study room soon, but Karen will talk about why it's closed right now, but the one that we want to open up. And if we open meetings, we'll start with internal meetings, like with the boards and stuff like that, and then go from there. Because our Lionheart room is still full of stuff. We're slowly moving stuff out, but we're not back to where we were. So, but that's where we are right now. So we have some change coming. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen, because I will say personally that my daughter got exposed twice in high school last week to COVID. Like, she was a direct contact with people, and you're starting to hear a little bit more about that at that age level. So it'll be interesting to see what the statistics show this coming week. Hopefully, we'll stay in the yellow and eventually get back to gray. That would be wonderful. So I think that's about it. That's all I have, really.
I just had a quick question. I know we're at the yellow level, and you mentioned, I guess, the best color level to be at is gray.
Yep.
Okay, because I wasn't sure. I saw a chart.
Yeah, gray is like the lowest level, and that's where you start to go back to normal operations.
Tell the color is gray.
Who knows what normal means anymore? What's that, Neil? I'm sorry.
When the graph I saw, I could make out the red, orange, and yellow, but the fourth color that turned out to be gray, I wasn't sure if it was gray or
it's basically you're back to normal operations, but okay. Normal is going to be different for a while.
Sure. I just wasn't sure what the color scheme was. I knew that orange was better than red, and the yellow was better than orange, and I wasn't sure what the best color is. Gray.
I guess it's gray.
That's fine.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Neil, please just remember to state your name when you're asking a question. That's
yes.
okay. And
Neil Ryan asking about colors.
Color
coded.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Thanks, James. And Lisa, if you could once again give the hours.
So it's going to be Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Friday 10 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, and Sundays 1 to 4.
I thought I was dreaming when I heard Sundays. That's great news. That's great news.
Anna, I have a question for Lisa. How's the traffic been? I mean, are you getting people coming in at between 6 and 8?
It's slow, but I think part of it is they're not going to come if you're not open. So, and I think with school now that, we want to encourage people to be able to stay a little bit later if they need to, or come in a little bit later. So, and if we start to go back to some programming, it would be nice to be open beyond 7 to be able to do that as well.
Just curious. Thank you.
Hi, Lisa,
go ahead, Maureen.
This is Maureen. What great news about Sunday.
Yes.
How are we going to promote that?
Well, we it's in the newsletter. We'll do a press release for probably next week. And then I just ordered banners to put on our front lawns. Like, we used to have it on our sign that said we were open, but now they can see. We'll put them up the week before that Sunday. And, we'll do it on website, social media, things like that. We can let the schools know as well for student purposes.
And to whom do we have to thank?
the town manager on that one, he pushed hard. I think it was last budget season to keep the money in, and the town council.
Thank you all. Thank you, Dave, and your colleagues. Thank you, Keith.
That's excellent news. Lisa, this is Diane. When we did the 2-day race pickup, where we had that one banner,
Yeah, I was thinking of putting it there, Diane.
I think that's a good place because
me
people
too.
that go to the town hall and stuff will then realize. Sometimes when you drive by Cedar Street, I'm not saying it's how I drive, but you might drive too fast to really pick up on the idea that the library is open on Sunday. So I think certainly in that area where so many people come in and out of the parking lot.
Yep, no,
throughout
I
the
agree.
day,
I was thinking of the
great
same thing,
point.
Diane. Yep, and then we'll have some on the front lawn, but then put it in that location. That was a nice location.
It really was. I think
Yeah.
it catches a lot of attention there. So thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Lisa? Seeing none, we'll move on. Assistant Library Director's Report, Karen Benner. Karen?
Hi, everybody. I think the last meeting we spoke to you about a virtual author program that we were doing with 4 area libraries. So we had that program. We hosted author Martha Hall Kelly. She talked about her new book, which is Sunflower Sisters. It was a historical fiction novel based in Civil War times. She was fantastic. She was engaging. She had an excellent presentation. She had done a ton of research on her topic. And we had, I think it was 98 attendees. And here's another great example with, this collaboration with area libraries, how we can reach, such a wider audience. So it was really, really successful. And, even at the end, there was time, people asked questions in chat, and I think everybody was really pleased. We are also researching some new software that's going to replace our existing program that deals with program signups, room reservations, museum passes. And the big change that we're looking for in the new software is the ability for patrons to actually register for programs themselves, if so desired, rather than having to call the library to register for a program. So our existing program is actually going away as of the end of the year. So we're kind of deep into that, looking for a replacement program. And then on Monday, after the wonderful race event, we came into a large delivery of new computer furniture. I think Lisa was probably in at the crack of dawn, and they came and delivered the furniture early. And we've replaced pretty much all of the internet and database stations. So the ones, along the far wall that goes down towards the study rooms, the unit that is centrally located near the DVD collection and the reference desk, and then the teen area. So we have added an additional computer. I think we have 4 right now, and we're just waiting for some additional equipment, and then we'll be expanding and adding more computers. We're also adding some additional shelving in the teen area. So that area is going to be kind of reorganized a little bit to sort of try to afford a little bit more privacy for the teens, and also expand, give them a little bit of extra space for their collections. So we're pretty excited about that, and it looks great. If you haven't been in to see it, next time you come in, check it out, because it really came out nice and looks nice, and it's got, the dividers up, between each unit. So it's in line with COVID protocol, and there's plenty of workspace and everything. So we're excited about that. And then I think, Diane, you had mentioned the hotspots, and we just kind of wanted to let you all know that we don't have them circulating yet. I don't remember if I mentioned at the last meeting, we received the wrong hotspots. So there were older models. So we're in the process right now of getting those replaced. You know, we're hoping that they should be here any day so that we can get these. We're very aware that, you know, we'd like to get them out and get them circulating, but that it is a glitch and, you know, they're not out there yet. So that's it for me. Thank you.
I see Laurel's hand up with a question. Unmute, Laurel.
Yes, I just wanted to say I'm very pleased to hear that you're investigating a new programming for people registering. West Hartford's had that for a couple of years, and I've used it to register programs for myself. But also they will send you a notification to remind you that you've registered for a program, which I think is a terrific asset.
Definitely.
So I'm very pleased to hear that you're exploring that.
Yeah, we're excited about that, Laurel, because it really is a feature that we really want to be offering to patrons. And actually today, Lisa and I were looking at West Hartford's site. So, you know, that's one of the vendors under consideration.
I just want a brief comment in regard to West Hartford. For what it's worth.
Go ahead,
Me,
Neil.
yeah, to me, West Hartford represents the gold standard as far as municipal government goes. Period. That's all. That's the kind of girl everyone should aspire.
But we offer better service, Neil, just saying.
Yes,
Okay.
we do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we do.
Except for their library. It's a nice building.
Well-
They don't have our people.
No one has our
Okay. Any other questions for Karen? No? Go ahead, Laurel. Another question or comment?
I want to say that Newington is superior when it comes to customer service.
My comment
Very
was
nice to
towards
hear,
West
Laura.
Hartford in general.
Thank
My
you
com-
both for those clarifications. Okay, and Karen, this is Diane. I just wanted to clarify, the new furniture and the hotspots were both from grant money?
Yes.
Thank you. So grants are important. It's really going to make the difference for us in these times. So that's all great. Thank you. Does anybody else have a question for Karen? See. Maureen, did you have a question or comment?
No.
Okay. Great. So next on the list, we'll go to the Friends of the Library with Sheila. Sheila Rowell, come off mute. Thank you.
Hi, this is Sheila. We are struggling to see what we can put together with all the restrictions that we have and the difficulty with area space. We've had 2 book sales. We have one more that's happening this coming Sunday, which will be the same as the others outside in the library parking lot. Then 2 weeks later, on November 7th, we're going to have another donation day. The last donation day, we really were slammed with an incredible number of books and stuff, and a lot of new stuff. So that was a great thing. How we're going to move after that, we're still working on, depending upon where we can have a venue, where we can put things. The weather is becoming an issue. So we're working on that. We're working on other ways that we can do some fundraising. And that's where we are now.
Super. So, this is Diane. So first, I want to say thank you to the Friends for the library lawn signs. I think putting those out the week before the race only helped, and along with the beautiful weather and stuff that we had. So that was very much appreciated. And I think we might have them all back now. Karen Benner, did you get them all back, all the library signs? Or Lisa?
I think we're missing 4.
And this is Anna, I can account for 1.
Okay, so we're missing 3. That includes yours, Diane. I counted yours.
Okay. So you counted mine being returned or still being?
Yes.
Okay.
Being returned, yep.
Okay. Great, thank you. Sheila, thank you. I suppose, not knowing what's going on with COVID, nobody knows what's going on with the Winterfest or anything like that?
at this point, the Winterfest, we just don't think that there's any way we're going to be able to pull it off because we just don't know. We can't plan ahead, but we're looking for other things we can do instead of.
Okay. Would you do something possibly in the springtime?
That's possible, very possible. You know, we've looked at a lot of fundraising, different fundraising ideas, different Zoom ideas with programming that you sign up for. There's a lot of different things that we've kind of started to investigate.
Okay, just stay away from May 15th.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else have questions for Sheila or the Friends regarding the Friends? No? Thank you, Sheila. Appreciate it. And next we'll move on to committee reports, budget. Do I have a
No
chair for
report.
budget? No
No
report.
report,
Thank you, Maureen.
Diane.
Thank you, Maureen. PEP with Laurel Goodgen.
No report.
Thank you, Laurel. And investments with Neil Ryan. Neil?
I sent out my spreadsheet yesterday to everyone. And if you looked at the spreadsheet, you noticed that September was a bad month for our portfolio. It happens. The market itself had a very bad September. And just for informational purposes, historically, September is the worst performing month of the year for the market. So we were in sync with the with that trend. But yeah, so it's a tough month, but we're still up for the year. We're up 4.60%, which isn't bad. So it happens. You know, you can't win every month. And winning our portfolio value as of September 30th, 21 is at $780,245.11. And as of that date, 62.52% of that total is restricted. And that is my report.
Thank you, Neil. Does anyone have questions for Neil? I don't see any. Thank you. We'll move on. Next report is House. Laurel, did you want to give a final House report?
No report.
Okay, so I'll chime in for the year going forward. And that is that we are looking to set up a walkthrough for the House Committee on November 13th, Saturday. I don't know that it's set in stone yet, but that's the date that we were looking for. And then depending on COVID will depend on whether it's the key committee members as we had to do last year, or if we can open it up to the whole board as we've done in previous years. So if you want to put a little circle on your calendar for the 13th, if you're interested in doing the walkthrough, and then we'll let you know what how many people we can have do that walkthrough at once, depending again on what color our town is in on that week.
Hey.
Okay. Any other comments or questions regarding House? We do know from Laurel's reports and Lisa's reports that they've really done a good job of making the most of the light traffic in the library and getting, you know, the carpet tiles repaired and all sorts of things. So that's great news. Okay, facility and site, Maureen Lyons.
Hello. Two things. Dave really reported on the building commission, what's happening. You know, there's been several meetings about establishing this, a building commission that would care for everything in the town instead of just having individual committees. And the library's request as a private property owner, which makes us, you know, sets us aside from other town departments, is that we have different representation. So that's, you know, we would like at least 2 voting members. I don't think that was on the boards with the last meeting that I attended. However, perhaps it's good news that the council is putting things off until after the election. So that'll give us, we, the board, more time to put our ducks in a row for some lobbying effort. but the key is that we're represented differently because we are private property owners. And that being said, we don't want to give up anything that the town affords us either, as far as operational monies. So that's something that that we need to seriously consider for the next council session. And Dave, I hope you're still on that council.
I will tell.
Way back in August 23rd, which seems like the dark ages already, we had the brainstorming session about library expansion. And I must congratulate Lisa Jones. She just did such an excellent job of facilitating, and her report is just so telling. It's very thorough, and it's a good springboard for us to use going forward. So, you know, I will be looking at some meeting dates. You know, Diane, you mentioned that we have access. Is it via the town for Zoom meetings, for committee meetings?
I believe it's through the town and possibly through the Friends Zoom connection. So
Okay,
just
all right.
we'll
So that's something, I mean.
make things accessible when we have to.
Yeah, Lisa sent all the information. There's a PowerPoint, there's a summary of discussion. There's just well thought out documents that she sent to us. And these are the items that everybody should be reviewing. One of the things that actually we LeeAnn Manke moved forward on, she met with Stephen Woods, as partially because of his expertise in the landscaping business, etc. And also, I think because of his zoning board information. And we had talked, one of the things we talked about in this brainstorming session was utilizing outside space. So she met with Steve, they did a couple of walkthroughs, and we're waiting for pricing right now, but essentially it would be like a cement platform, a slab, so to speak, and we would have a gazebo or a tent, something that could be utilized for outdoor programming, meetings, story hour, you know, lots and lots of potential in that area. So that's one of the things that actually has been you know, moving forward. We're waiting to hear from Steve. But, you know, the agreement, the consensus is that we need to expand. Nobody is disagreeing with that. We just have to figure out how to present it in the best way to the town, and how to sell it, how to excite the community, so many things. So I encourage you all to look at the notes that Lisa sent to all of us, and to contact Lisa or me with any questions. And then we will be setting something up with the facility and site committee, because we do need to get this moving. And that's it.
Great. Thank you, Maureen. Go
Maureen?
ahead. Lisa.
Yeah, it's Lisa
Yes.
Jones. You know, one of the things too, not only was there were a list of maybe 3 or 4 things, and I have to be honest with you, I don't know all of the other things that came out of that meeting, but one of them was, and this supports the whole library expansion idea, was to summarize the 2017 document that was developed by an outside firm. And I've been working on that. I think I have a pretty good handle on most of it. And I was hoping to be done a little bit earlier than I am now, but I should probably be done in the next week or so. And what I've done is, you know, we had all those wonderful ideas that we threw out to help visualize the what the future of the library was, and then started to summarize some of the data that was important to cull out of that very long document, and then compare it to perhaps some of the statistics that are now 4 or 5 years later, also a COVID spin, so how does COVID impact? So I am, as I said, working on that part of it right now, and I'm really working on the comparative data. So I can definitely have it out. I wanted to share it with Anna and Andy as just and perhaps you, Maureen, as just a kind of a litmus test before we'd send it out. But I'm hoping, as I said, to get that out in the near future so that we can use that, and it'll be easy on the eyes. I'm up to about 15 pages, but that's still half of what we had before. And again, with some of the comparative data, as well as the visualization of the new ideas, I think it'll be a solid document, but would definitely benefit from other people's feedback.
Thank you, Lisa.
Any other comments or questions? No. The one comment I wanted to make is, I think Maureen, you had mentioned that we wanted 3 representatives from the library. You didn't go into detail with ex officio and 2 voting members, but that number, as far as I'm concerned, in some of the subsequent conversations, was that the larger the permanent building committee gets, the larger the ratio of voting trustee members should be, just to make sure that we're maintaining a voice and not so that we have enough people to help represent the library in the overall. So that's just one clarification and point that I wanted to make. I'm hoping that folks, if you are not available to get on those Tuesdays when they're on there, that you do go back and hear some of the conversations and some of the things that happen. I know we've had a lot of emails going back and forth and around because we haven't been able to meet in person, but please, when you see it on the agendas, stay tuned, stay in touch, and share your thoughts. We can't do anything after things are passed and voted on. So if you want to have a say, now is the time to stay involved and have a say in what happens. So again, Maureen, thank you. Thank you for going over the brainstorming session. I know when we had our business meeting in September, we hit on the high points of that, but because we had such a shortened meeting, I don't know that we did it justice. So I'm glad that you brought it up again. Appreciate that. Anybody else have questions or thoughts on facility and site? That's my lead in. It always gives the next chair a moment to get ready. So the next chair is fund development with Anna Eddy.
I need to backtrack back to the beginning of the meeting. I realized I also was not at the September meeting and should have abstained from voting.
Okay, Elizabeth will handle that.
Yeah, so fund development is has kind of turned into the race machine. And when you were talking about, okay, so this race is over and we're going back to May, it will be interesting because we'll just about get the thank you letters out to all of the sponsors, and then Giving Tuesday hits November 30th. So Maureen, those letters need to be out way before November 30th, because then they'll get letters from me about remember the library, thank you for your support this last year, and could you give us an intention now if you're going to come back. It always helps to know early on if these sponsors are coming back, and then once we know that, then we can bug them for the actual cash in hand.
Working on it.
Yeah, no, I'm not a criticism, just a comment. So Giving Tuesday, I don't know if I'm going to take a different approach from what I've done. Network for Good has a wealth of information, and they had some workshops which I signed up for and couldn't attend, but I'm going to go back and sit through the videos of those workshops Sheila, it might be something that the friends might want to consider. I can send the links to you. And if anybody in the friends wants to take a look at Giving Tuesday, because I know it was something that was mentioned during the friends meeting. You know, you're welcome to view them as well. I mean, it's you know, all of this fundraising for me is a learning experience. I'm not a fundraiser, it's not my background, but I just keep borrowing other people's good ideas, and somehow it's been working. I know that if LeeAnn was here, she would tell you that, and Lisa Masten, I don't know that can we share that news, Lisa?
What news?
About the intention that you heard from the lawyer?
Oh, from my friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a friend of mine was a huge library user, and she passed away in September, and she left 15% of her assets, or whatever's left in her assets, to the library.
But we don't
So
know
we're
what
not-
that amount is.
Yeah, we don't know what that amount is, but she came to almost every program, and she loved the library. So that was a nice gesture on her part.
So again, as I keep on saying, you know, we keep planting those seeds, and we just never know when they're going to come to fruition. Whether it's a personal contact, whether it's, you know, maybe she saw something in, you know, in one of the newsletters. I have no idea. And speaking about the newsletter, Lisa, I have another question for you. I know that there's a newsletter coming out shortly.
Yep.
When is the next one?
After that,
Yeah,
it would go out in
December.
January.
Okay, so we had voted earlier this year to do a legacy flyer two
There's
times
one
this
that's
year.
there's the legacy flyers going out in this one, Anna.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, because you had said you wanted one to go out in the fall.
All right, and you have that copy?
I believe so, yep.
All right, so maybe we can touch base tomorrow and make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, you can, I'm not in tomorrow, so if you want to give Karen a call, but I'm pretty sure that Michelle copied that for you to have it ready for the mailing, because she's off this week. But you could
Okay.
check with Karen though.
Yeah, yeah, it would be good if I double checked. All
Okay,
right, Karen, I'll call Karen tomorrow.
okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
And so I think I need to take a look at fund development, a bigger picture. I don't know. I don't know if we're doing enough, or we're doing as much as we need to at this point. It's there's not a whole lot more to do. Our policy is in place. You know, we're doing these flyers, we're doing, you know, these follow-up things. You know, maybe it's time to do a brainstorming for fund development. So I'll think about that.
And that's always a possibility. Thank you, Anna. You had said earlier that you're new to this, but you're taking to it like a duck to water. So thank you very much for the fundraising that you've done. Andy, I see your hand. I'll let you speak in a moment. So I appreciate that. Outstanding job, I think, bringing money in during this COVID year. Just amazing. So thank you for that.
You're
Andy
welcome.
Becker, you had a question?
Yeah, this is kind of a crossover with Lisa and Anna. A whole lot of pictures were taken on race day. Pictures of winners. I don't know if pictures were taken when people crossed the finish line, but lots of pictures. Where are those pictures?
Well, some of them are already up on the website, on the race page. And Scott's got some of the pictures of the winners, but I have the pictures. I mean, I put some up right away when I put up the race results, like just kind of like 10 or 12 of them to start.
Because there are a lot of winners and a lot of families, a lot of great pictures, I'm sure. One of the things that would be useful to Anna is if she had an archive of pictures with names and email addresses, that she could send out blasts to that say, great seeing you at the race, terrific that you were a winner. Here's a copy of our communications for the month. Come on in, enjoy the library, see what's happening now. It's great to see you on race day. We'd love to see you every other day of the year. And, use that, because most of the people I talked to were not from Newington, who were there running. So just the idea that, okay, like every other organization that you ever do anything with online that gets your email, now you're contacted by them all the time. And I wouldn't wear it out, but I think it's a great way to increase the mailing list. And when you think of fund development, think of us for more than just racing. Come see what we have, give us the money.
Andy, I can speak to that. So last year when we did Ready, Set, Go, these are people who donated money outside of the race. I mean, we got a lot of money from Ready, Set, Go. We did not get as much this year. I mean, we got, some is better than none, but it wasn't the same numbers. Last year we collected nearly 6,000. This year it was like 1,500. I don't know what changed. Maybe people are just tired of hearing this COVID thing. But what I did last year afterwards is I took those people who donated money and built a separate list from that. And I'm doing exactly what you're suggesting, that they periodically with the friends, we send out with the newsletter, rather, we send out the legacy flyer with the newsletter. And those people on the special list is now like our legacy mailing list. They get that newsletter with the flyer in it. Right. And so it reminds me that the flyer is, that the race is there. The other thing that we do with the sponsors and with the people who have donated to the Legacy Society, the larger amounts, I try to do it every time. I missed last month, but I'll make sure I do it this month. They get a cover letter with the newsletter and any other inserts that are going, and it's personalized to that level, the businesses and the money donors. And I don't know, maybe that's one of the reasons that they're so willing to come back. I have no idea. We just keep on doing this and it seems to be working. But
I think it's a great idea. And to the extent that we can identify the people in the pictures, if we have the order in which the awards, the winners were given, and send those people pictures of themselves of getting the awards or whatever, it makes a personal connection and they get a positive feeling about their experience.
As long as we can see their bib number, it can be matched up, but then we would need somebody to do that matching up. And what the other thing I was going to suggest when we get to the business about the race is that I was going to suggest that we have a separate post-race debrief and go over what went well and what we can improve on for the race in 2022, and then talk about next year because it's the 25th anniversary on top of everything else. So, but I think that requires a separate meeting and not to tie up the board with all of that.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Andy, maybe you want to work with Anna to help bring some of those ideas to fruition.
Sure.
Great, thank you. Anyone else have questions or thoughts? So that was fund development, nominations, Maureen. She's on mute. We don't normally have nominations or any information on that at this time of the year.
I'm here, sorry.
Yeah, sorry if I'm talking over you.
No, there were no nominations at this point, but Diane, thank you for taking on that piece at the annual meeting for me.
You're welcome.
My absence.
You're welcome. Communications, Lisa Jones.
I have nothing to report at this point. I did know I mentioned in the last business meeting that I was meeting with Karen, and I was the one that was my miss on that. So I just rescheduled it. We're all meeting. Karen and Kim Rata and I are meeting on Wednesday actually, to talk about how we can collaborate on communications, and then I'll set up regular committee meetings. And Pauline, I know you're on the line. If you'd like to join us, I'll send the email out to you with the invite information.
Yep, very good.
Great. Thank you. Any questions for Lisa regarding communications? Lisa Jones? No. Okay. Then thank you for that, Lisa. We'll move on to old business. The library 5K challenge. As we know, that was our 24th race, which means that we will be having our 25th race this May. I was very pleased that we ended up with, I think it was 187. I know it was definitely, I think it was 187 registered runners and walkers. And I think that was great, knowing that 2 weeks before the shotgun went off, we had about 69 folks registered at that point. So I think the lovely weather, and I think folks have gotten used to kind of holding back to see what COVID numbers are and everything else. But from everything, not only the pictures that you saw on the website there, but from comments that I overheard during that day, it was very much enjoyed by everyone. They loved the area, you know, Mazzacoli Way, the area in between the two buildings, to be able to set up there and congregate there. I think it really brought home the feeling that it's the library and about the library. So that all worked out well from a parking standpoint, I think, and everything else. I very much appreciate the folks that not only did the time ahead of time for all the work, and Anna, I don't know how you got all those sponsors, but you know, hoorah, I guess. Whatever goes on from that end, thank you so much. That was amazing. It was great to have Tilcon sign up to be our premier sponsor and to have their truck there so that we could really publicize that. That worked out well. For all of you that got up early on Saturday, and for those of you that joined me on Saturday for the 2-day registration, thank you, because this is not done without many hours. And I need to tell you that as many hours as I put in, Karen and Lisa Masten did so many more hours in support of this race. And it is a team effort, but oh my gosh, there are some people that really stand out for the amount of work that they did. Anna, with all the fundraising, Lisa and Karen, always you have us keeping on track, and maybe you need to delegate to us a little bit more. And I'm sure I'm going to be sorry if you do that next year that I said that, but think about that. And I will try to do a better job of making sure that we recruit more folks to help. But I really do think that it was a successful race this year. Neil sent me an email earlier, and he also said that he felt that it was great that we were able to hold the race this year, because I think it keeps it top of mind for folks. If anybody else has thoughts or ideas or recollections of the day that they'd like to share, and
Yeah,
I'll stop talking now.
If I just want to follow up on the email that you mentioned, I sent you again. Yeah, what I meant was that I think it's important that we held the race, period. Because if we didn't have the race this year, that'd be 2 years out. Going to into next year, people will be that much further removed from the library having had its road race. They become less a part of people, you know, the town's conscience. By having it this year, it keeps it in the public's mind. I don't care if only 30 people showed up to race. I think it's a good thing that we had the race for that reason alone. So going forward next year, people, oh yeah, library, they're having the race again this year. 2 years in a row without a race, that gets a little tricky. That's what I meant. That's why I don't care. Actually, 10 people could have showed up if we had the race, period. I think that would have been a good idea. And actually 187 registered, that's, I think, a very good total given the circumstances. That's my only comment.
Thank you. Thank you, Neil. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, I thought it was great. This was my first race. And the fact that you were able, all of you folks, to arrange for perfect weather just made it triply enjoyable. I was never appreciative of all of the moving parts that it takes to put on a race like this. So I think you're right. All of you folks who knew exactly what you needed to do, especially Lisa and Karen, and pulling all of the details together. I'm glad I was able to help wrap bagels and do work that I was suited for. So I just thought it had a great vibe. Everybody was having fun. I thought Kevin Mason is a fantastic MC. And really, I don't know how much money we raised, but we earned every bit of it. And I'm sure everybody was willing to donate their part. And Bill Rogers was a hit. Man, that turned out to be a real bonus at the last moment. People really enjoyed meeting him and giving him money. So anyway, well done. I look forward to the next one.
And I had quite a few people come up to me at the bagel place, thanking us for the pre-registration, thanking us for our time and organizing the race. So this is the first time that multiple people actually came up and thanked us for the work we did. So kudos to Anna. I mean, this was a wonderful race.
Thank you, Pauline. Anyone else? So one other thing that I want to mention, and it's a little scary to me, but I happen to know that Anna will not be here on May 15th next year when we have our race.
You know that?
Yeah, I already know that. Isn't that a scary thought?
No.
Talk about planning
But
ahead.
let's see, I have to say, okay, Newington 5K race, south of France.
Well,
There's no question here in my mind.
competition here.
Yeah. So the one other thing that I wanted to say is I know that Anna and I both walked around to every one of the sponsors and thanked them for coming, thanked them for support of the race. And Pauline, just as you said, it was very nice to hear from the runners that they were appreciative. Just because the president and maybe the person that they know is always on the other end of that phone comes around, it doesn't hurt for every member of the board to take 5 minutes out and just say, hi, my name is, I'm part of the board, and we so appreciate your support. And they get thrilled with that. And really, it's all about getting repeat donors, right? So we don't hand out, well, I guess we hand out bagels, but there's no little cookie and lemonade like when you give blood. But we want to make sure that people are aware that we are appreciative. I went to Mike's Auto and said that I had noticed that they had sponsored the library, and it was so nice of them to do that. You don't always have to tell them that you're part of the board or anything else like that, but if you can, anytime you can say, I notice, and I noticed that you sponsored the library, and I think that's great. That encourages them moving forward. So whether it's a restaurant or an area business or anything else like that, and whether it's this week or 2 months from now, I think that can only help for future fundraising if we keep that alive and let them know how much we appreciate that.
And
Anybody else have questions or?
I'm sorry, I'm going to
thoughts? Go ahead,
contribute
Anna.
one idea that Christine Suzanne had mentioned to me on the morning of the race. We need name badges.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. I have it written down and I forgot to say it. So one of the things Chris said that she thought would be helpful is if those of us that volunteer, especially the board, wore badges, whether it says board member or has our name and a badge on it, that would be helpful. And I think that would also help for us to hear more comments from the customers. Sometimes it's hard to tell the volunteers from the runners or the family as that goes through. Nobody thinks I'm a runner, but they don't know if I'm just waiting for some fleet-footed family member to come across the finish line or not. So that could be a good idea, something to look into for next year. Anyone else have questions or comments? Okay, remember it's the 25th anniversary next year of the race. Amazing. Under the race is the Ready, Set, Go giveaway. Anna, is there anything else to add to that besides the fact that it went gangbusters last year and not so much this year?
No, I just wanted to thank Lisa and Karen for working with me to sort out the giveaway prizes and just having them ready that morning. And I was AWOL for the actual giveaway, but Lisa and Karen took care of that, and I'm assuming that went well and everything went out. Lisa can probably speak to it.
Yeah, it was fine. We pulled the winners and we actually contacted them right away after that. And Karen said, I think they've all been picked up, all the prizes. We
Nice.
gave people the option of picking it up or we'd send it to them, and most everyone wanted to come and get it. So
Great. Great, lots of local people. Thank you both for that. I didn't realize that you had taken the bull by the horn there. So appreciate that. Any other comments on Ready, Set, Go giveaway? No, okay. Next is open board positions. We do still continue to have 3 open positions. They are town appointed positions. We have 1 Democratic position and 2 Republican positions open. Again, friends, you know anybody who's interested in supporting the library or wants to get more involved in town activities, have them talk to us, have them talk to the town council leaders, whoever they need to, if they need more information and are interested. We certainly would love to have more members on our board. Town of Newington 150th anniversary. Any news or updates on that? Dave, you're our link in there. You're the only one I know that.
Well, I haven't heard much from my wife, Dave Nagel, about what's been going on. I know they had a blood drive. I don't know the details about it.
Right.
And I know they're planning something to do concerning Christmas and ornaments and whatever, but I really don't know any details. So, and of
Okay.
course, the mayor's ball, or whatever you want to call it, it's changed its name over time, is going to be next spring. And at the moment, I've forgotten if they have a date specifically for it.
Okay. All right, we don't have any new business on the agenda tonight. Did anything somebody wanted to introduce, to talk to, or consider for next time? Okay, I don't see anything. James, do we have any public on our call at this point?
Still nobody with us.
Okay, then I say that's the end of public participation, and I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Maureen, so moved.
Thank you, Maureen. May I have a second?
Second.
Anna, I second it.
I
Okay,
second.
we'll take the second from Anna. Thank you, Anna, for stating your name. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, so that's unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. And remember that our next meeting, let me just check the date. On the calendar is November 14th, right? We're back to the second Mondays because we don't have the holiday there.
Hope to be able to see you then. We'll see.
Wouldn't that be nice if we could be, oh, Dave, you're always welcome, but we hope that you're in your chair.
November 15th, Diane,
November 15th? I
Yep.
don't know what I said, but
the 14th.
yeah.
I think Diana,
11, 12.
wait a
Go
second.
ahead, tell me it's really the 16th.
No.
Eighth.
I was looking at May. How's that?
I think it's November. I think it's November 8th, Diane.
Eighth. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, before Veterans Day.
Maybe if I got my calendar on the right year. I have one of those quick cards in front of me and I'm on the wrong year. So it is November 8th. So much for me trying to make sure everybody knows what's happening. So our next meeting is Monday, November 8th in the year 2021.
Very
So
good.
sorry for the confusion.
We would have figured it out though. by next month. I know we would've.
And you all would have had a perfect excuse. And now we've done away with that excuse for missing the
Yeah,
meeting.
true.
So thank you. Stay safe and fingers crossed that maybe we'll be in the community room for our meeting.
Good.
All right.
Wonderful.
Take care all.
We don't know.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you,
all-
night,
everyone.
everybody.
Good night.
See you all
Bye.
down the road.